Good morning. Wonderful to be with you all. Hi to everyone who's here on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. We'll just give it a minute, wait till everyone hops on, and then we'll get started. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Wonderful. Happy to have you all. Today, in our time together, you're going to have the greatest breakthrough of your life. Just take a deep breath and open your palms. And just allow yourself to simply become aware of every inhalation and exhalation. In order to have this breakthrough, we need to spend a few moments laying a bit of a foundation for what this breakthrough actually is and how it becomes possible and available for you. You see, your whole life, somebody's been trying to remedy something about you or within you that never needed to be remedied. In fact, we have lived in an age and an era of disqualification, meaning that apparently, in certain circles, being human is the worst thing that could ever happen to you. Well, and then there are things like feelings and thoughts and beliefs and stories and a past, and by the time you add 2 and 2 together, you've come up with 700. And then there's the truth. And what is that truth? Well, that truth is a certain sense of mastery, you see. It's a place in a space of empowerment within yourself. Place in a space of clarity. That maybe you are not subject to all of these external conditions or requirements. Maybe you came here to realize that actually all of this is just an experience, and that you can be free of the need to identify or attach to any part of the experience. To recognize that to be empowered in yourself is to be empowered. And to have any dependency on any external or illusory form is just to further sentence yourself to another form of codependency. So in an age and a time in human history where everything is available to every single human being, the breakthrough happens when you finally confront the greatest illusion of them all. You. Bear with me. It's amazing what happens when you remove your individual pre-programmed conditioned lens of perception from the experience. It's amazing what happens when you finally recognize that there is not an issue with you at all. You've just been programmed and conditioned from the moment that you were born to see, perceive, experience, and feel the world in a certain way. And that as long as you continue to adhere to that programming, or you continue to conform to those ideas, because you see they're lies, but if you tell a lie for long enough, eventually it becomes the truth, even though it isn't. And then you go on this mission of trying to get rid of these things, or have them be different, or need to do something with them, or dare I say it, even personalize them, internalize them, and then further compound the invalidation that you've already endured. How am I doing this morning? Leave me a 1 or a yes in the chat. Good morning. Happy to have you here. So, How do we find freedom from this? What is the greatest breakthrough of them all? How do we find freedom from this? Well, you see, we have to recognize that as a human being, there is nothing wrong with us. That we have been nothing more than the subject of a propaganda or smear campaign. And that everyone's been out to try and convince you that in some way, shape or form, you would be better off without parts of you. Well, I've come here today to tell you that you would be better off without you at all. If we're going to waste our time trying to get rid of, I don't know, emotions or thoughts or beliefs or feelings or programming or conditioning or the past, well, how about we just make ourselves disappear? Why is it that we continue to need to be involved in something that's just spontaneously happening all by itself? Why, I ask you? Why? And here's the breakthrough. Did you keep yourself alive while you were sleeping last night? Did you? Did you keep yourself alive while you were sleeping last night? Were you breathing and sleeping at the same time and performing every bodily function? Did you keep yourself alive last night while you were sleeping? Were you actively controlling every aspect of you sleeping? Were you actively controlling your waking up this morning, or did you just wake up? And even if you woke up with an alarm, you still just woke up. There's no guarantee that you were going to wake up, right? So there is some force, some power, some intelligence that everyone keeps talking about that's doing everything, you see, right? That's, digesting your food, making sure that your blood circulates around your body. Who came up with that? Making sure that your brain works, your central nervous system works, that there is some power and some intelligence at work in the grand design of all things that's beyond your comprehension. Well, you see, mastery is trusting that power to also then take care of every other area of your life. And here's why. Because it is. The truth is, if we had the blessing of leaving our bodies today, the earth would keep spinning, life would carry on, everybody in our life would just grow up to be whoever they're supposed to be. They'd blossom into who they're supposed to blossom into. They would live in the way that they were meant to live just fine in the absence of us. So human beings have placed far too much of an emphasis on involvement. And that involvement translates in the form of attachment and identification. Ultimately, you are taking something personally that has nothing to do with you. It's like, I don't know, this morning you decide to pickle pickles. And you put the pickle in the pickle jar, and then you wonder how the pickle ended up in the pickle jar. Well, it's because you keep putting it in the jar in the first place. We are predisposed by solving problems that we ourselves are creating. However, if we actually allow ourselves to have this breakthrough, if we actually allow ourselves to step into this mastery, and what is that? That is to live from the part of you that already knows all of this. To live from the truth of you. To live from the manifestation of you that is the totality of everything, that is unaffected by all of this, the part that lives on, the part that's eternal, the part that we all know we have inside of us. The warm and fuzzy stuff, or the neutral stuff. Mastery of life is to no longer need to master life. Having ultimate control over your reality is surrendering the need to control it. Is to align with the intelligence, the power, and the force that is controlling everything, that is doing everything, that is allowing everything to happen in the way that it is. Now, are you playing out your part in all of this? Of course you are. The words come out of your mouth, your body seems to move, you end up where you're supposed to end up, you have whatever interactions you're supposed to have, you live whatever version of life you're supposed to live, you go through whatever you're supposed to go through. But is there any need to insert who you are into any of it? No. No, there isn't. It's an absolute waste of time. I'll prove it to you. Getting upset about things doesn't change them. Feeling anxious and afraid of things doesn't prevent them. No matter what you do, no matter what you insert into your experience of life and living, it doesn't change the fact that what's happening is happening. Let's imagine for a moment that you have a loving parent who sits with you every night to make sure that you get your homework done. Does it matter how much of a tantrum you throw, or how much you pout, or how much you try and rebel against the fact that someone's loving you enough to sit down with you to make sure you get your homework done? Does it change the fact that that homework's going to get done? So isn't most of what you're doing in the name of transforming, in the name of evolving, in the name of fixing, healing, changing, and improving, an epic waste of time? And it's not like they're going to stop coming up with things that need to be changed. And it's not that they're going to stop coming up with ways that you can change them. Right? So the latest wave is hypnosis. Yeah. Manifestation didn't work. Let's just hypnotize you. Peak performance isn't working. Let's just hypnotize you. Let's do some form of mental gymnastics or suggestion. That'll do it. Nothing else has worked, but this will do it. This is going to be the thing. But you see, of course, it doesn't work. Because everyone's trying to fix something that isn't real, that doesn't exist. And the only reason why people are doing that is because they've been led to believe that there was a problem in the first place. Do you understand? You've spent your whole life engaged in a futile pursuit outside of you because somebody convinced you that there was a problem in the first place. Somebody put the pickle in the pickle jar. Next thing you know, you're in a pickle, but you think that you're not supposed to be, that there's a problem with that, and there isn't. So after a while, you begin to free yourself of the clutches of trying to pursue freedom while locked behind prison walls. Prison walls that you yourself have erected. Walls that you yourself have diligently constructed. Walls of identification. Walls of attachment. And then, one day, a friend comes by and says, "Excuse me, I couldn't help but notice your predicament." And you're like, "Well, yes, I'm in a pickle." "Yes, you are in a pickle." I'm like, "But can you explain to me what you're doing behind those walls? Who put them there?" "Well, I did." "Okay. Well, why did you?" "Well, because my whole life everyone's told me that there's something wrong with me, that I'd be better off without some part of me." "Well, actually, from where I'm standing in this moment, you'd be better off without you completely." "Totally." So how about this? Are you aware of the fact that there is no lock or door on this contraption of yours, that you can just walk out of it? Really? Yeah, totally. Really. 100%. Wow. How about we just walk out from behind the wall or around the wall? And let's experience life without the wall, without the programming, without the conditioning, without the interpretation, without this constant, repetitive narrative of something wrong. Okay. All right. Can I do that? Of course you can. Yeah, you can walk through walls. Of course. For some of you, those of you that are still in the pickle, I'm taking the pickle out of the jar. Pickle free of jar. Prisoner free of prison walls. What is a pickle that is no longer in a pickle jar? And what is a prisoner who is no longer imprisoned? So now you're like, okay, well, what do I do now? I still have to live my life. I still, have to make decisions and choices, and, things still have to happen, and, have to figure out what's for lunch, what's for dinner, and all that. I'm like, well, okay, sure, of course, great. But what does any of that have to do with you? What does anything that's happening in your life actually have to do with you? You see, if a flower is going to grow in the way that it's supposed to, whether you stand over it or not, and will it to grow, then isn't there a better use of your time? Can't you just let that flower grow? If life is just happening, let's just say that human beings make it. If human beings make it, we all turn golden, and we decide to not download ourselves into computers. Let's say we make it. We choose to live in our natural biological state instead of some augmented manifestation of reality. We make it. Then why does anybody need to do anything in order for us to make it? So the way I see it is, human beings for millennia, however long we've been around for, well, we've just really been taking credit for something that's just been happening all by itself. I'd personally like to thank all of you that saved us in 2012. Thank you for your service. Take a bow. I'd like to thank each and every one of you that saved us from Y2K. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for saving us from Y2K. I'd like to thank each and every one of you that saved us from every near-fatal cataclysmic event that human beings have believed would be the end of them. And yet, somehow it's never the end of us. So what is the breakthrough? I'd like to personally thank all of you who saved us from the overuse of hairspray and really exaggerated shoulder pads. No, you really did something. Those of you that made that, you really did something. You deserve a medal. You're my heroes. Do you see how absurd all of this is? Now, let's just go back to the beginning. Did I, wearing copious amounts of hairspray and shoulder pads that were just ridiculous, made me look like a linebacker from the NFL, did I control myself alive? Was I micromanaging my breathing? Was I single-handedly giving myself a motivational seminar to help wake me up this morning? Was I actually involved in anything that was happening while I was sleeping? Probably not, right? There's so much of life, actually, that when you think about it, you're not involved in at all. It's all just happening. So then what is the breakthrough? The breakthrough is not in wasting your time being hypnotized into believing that you're a chicken. Although it would be funny to see you hypnotized into believing that you're a chicken. The breakthrough is not in changing your beliefs. We've tried that. It's not in changing your body. You've tried that too. It's not in changing your emotions. You've tried that. It's not in changing anything, actually. The breakthrough is in finally recognizing the absolute futility of being you. Not that there isn't a point to your life. There is. But you'll notice that that point has nothing to do with you either. So then what is this thing called mastery? Well, I don't know about you, but that part of me that keeps me alive while I'm sleeping, that part of me that digests my food and takes care of all of my bodily functions and every function in nature and everything in this infinite universe, mastery would be then trusting in that. Trusting in that power. Trusting in that invisible force that is the source of all things. And living in mastery means living a totally surrendered life where you are no longer attached to any outcome, any goal, where you are perfectly yourself and you're perfectly aligned with the adorable manifestation of life that you are, and you live your days no longer needing to personalize anything at all, on any level. That actually, you can just totally embrace yourself the way you are now and be free. That nothing needs to change at all. If your suffering was as a result of the copious mental programming and conditioning that has led you to believe that you need to be hypnotized to believe that you're a chicken in order to have a better life because being human is just not where it's at anymore. And let's face it, if you're a chicken, you could probably make a good living for yourself. Eggs are expensive. Eggflation, right? It's a transferable skill set. You could pick up your chicken self and take it to anywhere where they're currently having an egg deficiency, right? And you'd be set, right? You'd be perfectly set. Plus, you're a chicken, so your, living expenses would be nominal. Your footprint would be marginal. You don't take a lot of space, but you're a net producer as it relates to the ecosystem of life. Or you could just be human. And you could just accept and love the fact that you are the way you are, and in doing so, eradicate all of the programming, all of the conditioning, through the complete acceptance of it. Because by now, you've come to realize that the very second you stop having a problem, there isn't one. Because the person who put the pickle in the pickle jar in the first place was you. And for some unknown reason, primarily because you're probably bored, you keep putting yourself in a pickle, and then you keep having to get yourself out of the pickle that you put yourself in. Which is a lifestyle choice, for sure. But it's no way to live. So after a while, you allow yourself to have the breakthrough. And what is that? My life doesn't need me. My life is unfolding perfectly all by itself. And when I let it, I don't need to control it. I don't need to bargain with it. I don't need to get upset about it. I don't need to do anything with it. I can just live in trust and access the mastery that was always there. You see? And this way then, I don't have to spend the rest of my life trying to get rid of parts of myself because I've been led to believe that being a chicken is way more valuable than being a human being. No. I can just be the human being that I am. And I can find a place of love and acceptance for myself the way I am. And then I can stop having a problem with myself the way I am. And then I can just flow with my life the way that it is. Mastery isn't something that you attain, beloved. It's something that one day you finally allow. And actually, it's nothing more than a conscious acknowledgement of the mastery that already is, that already was, and that always will be. To be a human being in this world, to be you, to have your experience, to live your life, is a blessing. And the greatest breakthrough of all, the greatest liberation of all, the greatest freedom of all, is just to live it. Is just to be able to live it. Because you are. Because you are. Because it's all happening. All of it. And no part of any of it requires anything from you. And the parts that it does require from you, don't you worry. It'll get that out of you. The words will come. You'll be moved around. The energy will come. Whatever needs to happen will happen. Of course it will. But at some point, you have to perform the greatest magic trick of them all. You have to make yourself disappear. Alakazam. And in making yourself disappear, you realize that every single thing is actually just happening. And no part of any of it has anything to do with who you really are. And nothing that you do about any of it actually changes what is. Shazam. I trust you've had your breakthrough. In the event that you have not, don't worry, just give it a minute. It's on its way. Senor, my love. Laurel. Stop typing Om Shanti. I have no idea what those emojis are, but they look great. Oh, Pickle Jar, thank you. Pickle Jar. Close your eyes, you beautiful humans. Take some long, deep cleansing breaths. Good morning, Spirit friends, and welcome to another Call to Calm meditation. It never ceases to amaze me that human beings continue to find new and innovative ways to try and solve a problem that never needed to be solved in the first place. Actually, we're having experiences, and every one of these experiences is empowering us in some way, shape, or form to have another experience. But don't you worry, guaranteed, another experience is on its way. After a while, once you've been at this whole thing for long enough, you begin to realize that there's no one experience really that's any greater or better than another. It's all just being human. And this whole being human thing isn't a game of choices and decisions, of passes and fails. This whole being human thing is just about allowing life to be the way that it is, because when you finally trust in the power that keeps you alive while you're asleep, that breathes you while you're awake, that does everything on your behalf, not just for you, but for everything in creation, everywhere where there is life and beyond, well, then you begin to access this way of being, you see, called mastery. And it's not that all of a sudden people pop you on your head with peacock feathers, bless you with some kind of sandalwood oil, and then give you a pair of wooden sandals and an orange t-shirt. No. Instead, you just realize that it's perfectly okay for you to leave life alone. That you can actually just leave your life alone and let things play out, let things unfold. Eventually, you will accept yourself and love yourself enough to move on to another experience. But until then, there's no point getting upset about the fact that you're a pickle in a pickle jar. You just have to recognize that you put yourself in the pickle in the first place to accept and love yourself enough to get out of the pickle that you put yourself in. And I love a good pickle. I just don't ever need to end up in a jar again. Take some breaths, you beautiful humans, and open your palms. Today's meditation is going to be on tariffs. And we're going to meditate 100% harder. 104% more today because of tariffs. I'm joking. Keep breathing, keep relaxing. Resting in the awareness of your breath transforms your life into a living meditation. Resting in the awareness of your breath transforms your life into a living meditation. A living meditation. Welcoming your every inhalation and exhalation. And recognizing that your life is a meditation experience. You're not meditating. Your life, with your eyes wide open, your lived experience, is a meditation experience. Resting in the awareness of your breath transforms your life into a living meditation. Welcoming your every inhalation and exhalation. And today, accepting the fact that when you're done with your time with me, life is going to happen. The earth is going to continue its rotation. The morning will become the afternoon will become the evening. And then if you're blessed enough, the whole thing will start all over again tomorrow. Now, I with every breath. I'm going to trust myself and my life to the power that keeps me alive while I'm asleep. I'm going to trust my day to the same power that is animating and unfolding with perfection everything in this infinite universe. And I'm going to trust it. Because if it can come up with something like a galaxy, a black hole, a universe, a multiverse, dimensionality, and beyond, then maybe, just maybe, it knows what it's doing as it relates to me and my life and my lived experience. Continuing to rest in the awareness of your breath, you beautiful being, you're going to gather up all of your mechanisms of control, put them in a white bag labeled surrender with golden writing, and you're going to lay them at the feet of the infinite power that is unfolding the perfection that is life, including you. You are perfectly you. You are perfectly you. Exactly the way that you need to be. Going through exactly what you need to go through. There is a perfection to you. Perfect in every way, in every detail. Continuing to rest in the awareness of your breath. Trusting this infinite power, this source that's doing everything. And handing yourself over to it. Hello, infinite power. You do such a good job of keeping me alive while I'm sleeping. And so far, you've done a fantastic job of keeping me alive while I'm awake too. If you don't mind, I'm just going to completely surrender my life to you and trust in your capacity to keep this thing going for as long as I'm supposed to be here for. I'll perform the actions that you give me to perform. I'll go where you guide me to go. I'll say what needs to be said. I'll do what needs to be done, but if you don't mind, I'm done having an opinion about any of it from now on. Universe, creation, all that is, I'm going to give you a 5-star Yelp review today. Because you are giving me a 5-star experience of being a human being. Continuing to rest in the awareness of your breath. Recognizing that to be superhuman is not to come here from another planet. To display some otherworldly ability or quality is not to attain something. It is to simply flow with life, trusting life to bring you exactly what it's meant to bring you. so that you can accept yourself more and love yourself more than you did yesterday. Sun, the moon, the stars, I trust you. The caterpillar, the butterfly, the ants, I trust you. All of the fish, large and small in the ocean, I trust you. Every creature on the earth and the land, I trust you. Everything that flies in the sky, I trust you. My fellow human beings, I trust you. I trust you to be exactly who and what you are, to be faithful to yourselves until the end. And most importantly of all, I trust this power, this force, this light that is animating all things on behalf of all things at all times. Today, life will happen. And today, I'm going to let it. Today, life is going to happen. And today, I'm going to let it. Take some long, deep cleansing breaths. And just take a moment to appreciate the fact that resting in the awareness of your breath really does transform your life into a living meditation. Because your life is a meditation experience. And that your life has this uncanny ability of working itself out in ways that you could never conceive of, ever. Trust creation today. Trust the power, trust the light, trust the force that's doing everything. Because if it keeps you awake while you're asleep, well then maybe it also keeps you alive while you're awake. You don't have a screw loose. There is no screw. And there is nothing to change. I trust you. Now trust yourself and watch what happens. Today's Wednesday. June 7th and 8th, we're going to be in Nashville. And we're going to be exploring this thing called mastery. How many of you could see that maybe this whole mastery thing might be a worthwhile investment of your time? if you've come to the realization that maybe a life of surrender and letting go is the best way to live, well then, might be time to book an airline ticket, go to the website, figure out how to show up, because I can't wait to see you. There's that. Also, let's see, what else have we got going on? Group alignment session today. What is a group alignment session? It's an opportunity to unwind the copious amounts of programming that you've endured that have led you to believe that you'd be better off identifying as a chicken. In the event that you're ready to remember how great it is to be a human being, I'll see you there. What else? Oh, I don't know. Freedom, liberation, the breakthrough of all breakthroughs. The breakthrough of all breakthroughs. The day I realized that everything in my life would be perfectly fine without me, that life would go on, the planet would spin, the earth would keep doing what it was doing, that actually I was the final illusion that I had to move beyond. Well, that was just the best day of my life. Sending you all a big hug. Take care. Be well. Consider yourself unpickled. Head on over to the website. If you're on YouTube, like the bell button and subscribe. Tell your friends. Every day, 5 days a week. Why? Because it's fun. Be well.